Okay, good evening, everybody. How are we?
Good.
Are we alive? Are we awake?
Yeah.
It's fantastic. You know what I'm going to ask you to do, right?
Stand on one leg. Yeah.
Come and stand up. Okay. Now, before we get started, I want to remind you that this is a community event, right? So in most communities, you give hugs or fist bumps, depending on what you want to do. What I'd like you to do is go and find somebody you don't know, give them a hug or a fist bump as they prefer or you prefer. So this is fine, but, and just say hello. Okay, let's get started. Go and find somebody you don't know.
So I didn't catch your name. Didn't catch your name. Zillah. Because I think you connected with somebody else. Yes.
So Christina was supposed to do this, and I think she lost her grandmother, so she's back in Norway. So I'm still like trying to prepare myself for the questions.
St. Gerald went to college here. The next building is called City Ventures College. They've knocked it down now, so the building is much nicer. Yeah. The City University, where it's called Polytechnics back in the day. They had a car park and you had the college. So the university was still here. They made office spaces.
Is it close to this building?
No, in this next building. The Black Hill Road. Long time ago, in the 90s.
Okay, so tonight is demo night. We run these on the second Wednesday of every month, and I'm going to ask somebody random in the audience in a minute just to see if they can remember why we run these. I'm going to ask panelist Mark in a second to see if he remembers. Okay, second Wednesday of every month. Next month is June. It's London Tech Week when we run this, so it'll be on Wednesday the 11th. So everything about what we're doing tonight is a dry run, even the live stream, which we've got running right now. All these cameras we've never used before. This is very exciting for us. In this kind of way. Okay, so thank you for being part of the Express. Thank you for coming from Lisbon to be part of this today. All right, Mark, why do we run Demo Night?
To give very, very gifted people an opportunity to pitch the business, take feedback, to work on the pitches for going out for funding, investment.
Just made that up right there.
That's all right.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, it's very good. Okay, Ruben, what's the number one reason startups fail? Your faculty here at Bayes, you must know this stuff.
I guess number one reason is building something without thinking why it needs to be built, why anyone would want to buy it.
Pretty much, yeah. And basically building stuff that nobody wants or needs. And the point of the free drink and the free pizza that you guys will get is that you are now the critical phrase. We bought and paid for you. Okay? Critical phrase for every startup that stands up here today. So we don't want you to shellac anybody. We want you to give your honest opinion, your feedback, your insights, your inspiration, and your support to any founder that's brave enough to stand in front of you, because you are all very scary, especially you. And especially you, you're very scary. Standing on this stage can be really quite something, and you will be surprised that these founders over here, as grown-up adults as they are, may actually stand here and go, oh, awkward, because you're going to say the equivalent of your baby's ugly at some point. And that's quite hard to take. There's an exercise on our master's course where the guy gets everybody to work on something for 10 minutes, and he gets them ready to present back that idea after just 10 minutes of working on something just right there in the moment they've never worked on before. And instead of presenting it, he just says to them, don't worry, just tear it up and throw it in the bin. And nobody will do it. Nobody wants to let go of the idea that they've only spent 10 minutes on, let alone these guys for their entire life and focused on it. But we need you. That's why we're buying you. Because if you give the right piece of advice today, they build stuff that's successful. You help everybody think round corners. And that's really cool, even if it is a bit okay. Right, now to begin with, though, we've got this nice panel, fireside chat, hosted by Shraddha. Oh, and I should also say, we've now got a WhatsApp group that you can all join if you want to talk to each other. And it's that link, which you can also get to through Mentimeter. If you go to menti.com and put that code in, you can vote, ask questions, and do all sorts of random stuff across the time. And that includes clicking on the link and going straight to the WhatsApp group. All right, so it's all there for you. Mentimeter is our friend. So Shraddha,
Is there a password to the Wi-Fi so people who don't have signal can?
There was.
Senor,
Thank you. Well,
full service, full service. I sincerely encourage you to fiddle with your phones all the way through this. Get on Mentimeter, write anything you want, vote on everything, ask a question. At the end of each demo, there'll be these little sliders that go up and down. I get it, I'd invest in it, I'd recommend it to a friend. We want you to do that stuff. All right, we don't think it's rude. You don't have to hide the fun or anything. It's part of the deal. Okay, so everybody in the Wi-Fi? Everybody happy? Everybody sound? Good. Okay. Let's see if it works. Can you try typing in way over to that? And let's see if it just does its magic thing. I'm nearly there, try that.
That's okay.
Thank you very much. All right, we keep doing that all the way through, and all these will be available to you for another 3 days after tonight, so you can look at the decks and the questions you're looking to come through. Do you know the number one reason that comes up on that board more often than not in every event we run in Lisbon, in Boston, and everywhere else? Networking. They come to meet people. Isn't it strange? People actually want to meet each other. All right. This is the quote that summarizes everything you're doing today, okay? So everything you touch, you change, and everything you change changes you. You will be different by the end of today because you've asked questions of these people. They will be different because they listen to you and ask questions and try to answer them. And hopefully everybody's better off as a result of that. That's certainly how it's worked for the last decade. So we begin with the fireside chat. Shraddha's in charge. Ralph and Anwar are the subject matters today, going to share some stuff with you, but I need you to practice something to make sure that this works. Every bit of energy you give them, they're going to give back twofold. If you give them this, this. If you give them massive energy, you're going to get it back from them. So we'll just practice how much energy do you want them to have.
Kicking off, okay, sorry. Hi, thank you everyone for joining. So I'm going to kick off with Ralph and Anwar. Ralph, so I think we would like to understand the mission of City and how are we catalyzing that with the startup ecosystem in London?
Yeah, thank you very much. So, by introduction, I'm the head of entrepreneurship at the university here. So, you know, I essentially run City Ventures, which is the entrepreneurship service supporting undergraduates, graduates, and alumni to build businesses. And we have kind of established after some thought, kind of a kind of clear mission and purpose behind why are we doing this? As a question that was asked me when I first started in the job, is why are we doing entrepreneurship? So we have kind of two main kind of missions and purposes. One is we see it as our role to kind of catalyze, ignite the startup ecosystem in the City of London. I think everyone's familiar with the City of London as a big kind of centre of commerce and industry, well, finance in particular, but we don't really think about it in terms of startups and innovation and that kind of thing. So it's a huge opportunity for City of London to play a really key role in catalysing and creating innovation, creating new businesses, and then from there emanating out from the city and hopefully influencing further. So that's one aspect of it. And the other aspect of it, which is the other side of the same coin essentially, which is that we really want to see entrepreneurship being something which is accessible to as many people as possible. And in particular, we're really interested in the idea of socioeconomic disadvantage and how that impacts on people being able to build businesses. So if you haven't got the money to spend a year working on your idea, if you haven't got the social capital, you don't know the right people, all those kind of things, you don't have the kind of role models that might be there available if you come from a different kind of background. We want to try and see how we can understand those barriers and then see what we can do to address them. And that's actually an area which is not really talked about in terms of entrepreneurship. When you think about a lot of the very successful entrepreneurs out there, quite often they don't come from very highly educated backgrounds. They're actually coming from ordinary backgrounds, getting ideas from their daily lives.
Yeah, I think in a being startup world for quite some time, I think funding has always been a key issue for most startups. And with regards to like, how do you support socioeconomic background if, they do not have equal opportunities? How does city support with regards to?
Well, that's an extremely good question. So, our kind of working assumptions, our hypothesis that people will go through the kind of entrepreneurial journey and they'll drop out at different points for different reasons. And what our kind of assumption is that people will drop out because they don't have access to the same kind of financial resources, the kind of social resources that other people might have. So the kind of journey we're on as a university is to understand that in more detail and then design our programs to try and make sure that doesn't happen. So we're actually at the kind of early stages of that. We're actually building some research models for next year to try and test out some of those theories, working with a business school.
Thank you. And if, one of us want to apply to that, is there an eligibility criteria or how does that?
Yeah, so we're just again, this is all quite new. So we are kind of rebuilding and kind of reinventing, reimagining a lot of the stuff we're doing. But starting from this term and then going into next year, we're introducing 2 new support packages. One is called a startup support package, which is for founders who have an idea but haven't really gone through those initial thought processes around, really identifying the problem, understanding whether the problem's a common problem, and thinking about how you might get an early validation kind of signals and things like that. And then once you go through that process, the growth support package is to try and take businesses really to kind of seed funding.
Okay.
So and then we refer on from there. So that our role is to kind of build that early stage pipeline. So I'm hoping that some of the people here be thinking about maybe have an idea, would like to take an idea forward. Then hopefully you'll think about applying for some of these packages of support, and it's all free as well. I'll just chuck that in there. So,
okay. So yeah, please.
Yeah, get in touch.
Get some money.
Before I move to Anwar, could you give us a brief about how Canopy and City are coming together with?
Yeah, so I met Stuart actually through the president of the university about 2 years ago, I'm going to say. So, and at that point, I was quite early in the job and I was really keen to see what we could do. And I kind of think I identified the opportunity we're trying to leverage. I talked about the City of London and the kind of demographics that we're working with here. And Stuart had this experience working with Set Squared, which is in the west of England, and also his experience in other countries doing the same kind of thing with the demo nights. So this became, Stuart kind of said, you got to do this, you got to do this. I was very insistent that we do it every month, which I wasn't really buying into. But what's actually worked is the kind of the regularity of it, building the community, the fact that you're all here, the fact that you hopefully will come again. We want to see people coming regularly to these events, participating, being part of the community. So Stuart's been the driver for that. And then we also give Canopy, the online Canopy community, as a free package within our service. So it's a great benefit for our participants and our programs as well.
It's brilliant. Okay. Thank you. Anwar, if you want to give introduction about RIA and how your journey has been so far.
Yeah, so Anwar, I'm one of the co-founders for RIA. We used to be called Polysurance when we started at the previous place, also known as Launch Labs, which is City Ventures. So our ambition is to basically build products to help predict an accident before it happens and try to prevent it. So, initially our product was designed and targeted at insurance companies. So as you know, with insurance, if you don't pay out a claim, keep more money in your pocket, and this is great for everybody. So this is where we basically started off from, and the journey that we've gone on from, talking to insurance companies in the city, then talking to fleet operators who have a large number of vehicles scattered around the country where they have issues with identifying who's driving, people smoking while they're driving, not wearing seat belts, using the phone. Any sort of distraction that can potentially lead to an accident or close call. We've started to expand beyond UK shores, and we went to Middle East a couple of years ago before Donald Trump went, just to let you know. So the idea was that we wanted to go to a market where road accidents numbers were very high. So a couple of years ago, the UN did a report where they showed there's millions of accidents were leading to fatalities. And we found that Middle East was a very, high accident, high fatality area. And, with the growth that we saw and the demand for new technology, we also decided to kind of establish a business in Riyadh as well. And, you talked about funding, having product, having great ideas and doing all the good stuff is great, but you also need a good partner. So one of our investment partner had huge network in Saudi and also he had his own insurance business. So we connected the two things together, and this basically allowed us to start doing pilots, and we've got clients right now. So this is the journey we've been on so far. It feels like, it was only yesterday we were at the, launch lab known as City Ventures, but it's probably about 2-3 years ago since we started on that journey.
And what is the future looking like?
I mean, as a business, our ambition is to basically, again, try to reduce, as I said, accidents, which has a benefits to the operators themselves, because it means you get high utilization of the vehicle. There's an insurance play to it as well. And I'm hoping that, over time, we'll basically have better integration into autonomous vehicles that have cameras built in as well. And we're trying to build stronger relationship with insurance companies to understand the risk and trying to model the risk in such a way that, when we all have driverless cars, these sort of things become a norm, and how you calculate risk becomes a norm as well.
For any budding entrepreneurs, what would be your advice?
I mean, it's a lot of hard work, so be aware of that. And I guess the first thing is just make sure, people use this word a lot, I have the passion. So if you're working on an idea or if you're working in an industry, you have to have a passion for it. So if you're just going to go in there purely because it sounds cool, or, because you feel like, okay, if I did this, I can make a lot of money. Obviously, all of that's going to be there. There's a lot of hard work involved, and you have to give up a lot of personal time. You have to be committed, because it is a long journey, and hopefully it's a fruitful one for you guys as well.
Before we ask audience question, my question is, how has City helped you so far? How is the involvement in City?
I think there's lots of different ways. I mean, one of the things I think Stuart mentioned is the community aspect. So being in an environment where everybody is in the same boat, being in the City Ventures launch lab, it kind of makes it easier. So you're dealing with issues and challenges every day, maybe sometime every hour when things are not working. So being in that same room with other people who are going through the same challenges and same journey, you kind of, trying to support each other in the best possibly can. Having a space offered to us by City also means that you have a place to go to, as in, work from, arrange meetings, if you want to bring clients in. It's always nice to say, here, I'm in the City of London, come over. Even if people are from abroad, people are looking forward to coming to the university. And then, we have the mentorship, the support the university, also the program offers us. So if you want to get involved in, other activities and other, I guess, I don't know what's the right word for it, but, if you want to learn about marketing, for example, and you're not a marketeer, there are programs offered to people who are, doing the startup to understand and maybe make connections. So again, it's the community and the support you get, because not every startup have the same need, right? Different people have different needs. And I got an opportunity to do a couple of teachings at the university, which I quite enjoyed. So for me, it was a bonus, I thought.
Nice. Any questions from the audience?
Who's eligible for the venture space or the City Ventures program?
Yeah, so so if you've got an idea and you've got the passion to do something with it, that's the basic bar you've got to get across. That's a pretty low bar. Well, it's actually quite a high bar. actually, based on what Amwell just said, it's actually a very high bar.
It's probably the highest bar, yeah.
So, if we come convinced that your idea's got some kind of merit and you've really got to demonstrate you're actually really up for it, that's the kind of first step. For the growth support package, we're looking for businesses that are actually trading, have actually kind of taken some action or have some kind of funding in place, whether that's, they've kind of got something going. But the initial one is, I have an idea, I'm really up for this. That's kind of the basic thing. I'll just add to what Anne was just saying. The thing about community is something I didn't really know, because I did have a business before, a failed entrepreneur. But what it is I don't realize is how supportive the community is. It's great that you're all here, but genuinely, it's not a cutthroat environment to be in. It's an environment where everyone wants everyone else to succeed, and being able to draw on the strength of that community is absolutely massive, because it is very isolating otherwise. So, I just add that little final thought.
Yeah.
Is there an application like window or is it?
No, you can apply anytime. We don't do it in cohorts at the moment. That might change in the future, but yeah, if you want to apply, find our website, there's a big button, press it, go.
Question to Anwar. Could you tell us a little bit more about your startup in terms of how far you are right now, and how long it took you to get there?
I mean, I don't know what the exact definition would be from VC perspective, but I would say we're roughly at Series A. So we've got product that's live in market, we've got clients that are using our product, and we've got quite a few pilots with like global FMC companies who use vehicles to deliver produce. So their core business is not delivery services, but their core business could be, I don't know, soft drinks or water or something else. And they have a huge fleet of vehicles. So I would say we're at that stage. To get here, I mean, we pivoted from the first idea. Initially, we were just going to go straight after insurance companies, and we were going to become an insurance agent ourselves. But if you know anything about financial regulation, the process could be 2 years. And for a startup, you may have 6 weeks, 6 months, but definitely not 2 years. So then we pivoted a little bit, probably about 2.5 years ago. And that's when we basically focused on being a product company where we offer solutions to fleet companies and also to insurance company who would basically offer this to their clients. So we're not focusing on being an insurance company yet, but maybe there's something for the future. So I would say approximately 2.5 years on the current product idea. But you'll know within 6 months if there is no interest, you're calling people and they're not returning a call, then you're getting some feedback, somebody saying, look, there's no interest in this product. And yeah, you should have a good idea if people are going to buy this or use this or subscribe to this, because there's no point pretending, right, that eventually somebody will use it and waste 1 year, 2 years, because that's it can be very tough when you get to that point and your product is a failure. You feel like you've not been able to achieve your goals.
Okay, thank you. Then on your phones. Yes. Supposed to be introducing. All right, thank you everyone for being here, especially on a warm, sunny afternoon. I know you could all be drinking in the pub outside, but thanks for being here. So we've got really great 4 startups, 4? Confirm? 4 startups, all different. So please ask questions, participate. This will really help the founders sort of refine their ideas and think of different things that they haven't actually thought of before. So do you want me to introduce the panel, Stuart, or panel?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so we've got 3 panel. We've got Rachel.
No,
Rachel's not here. Okay, sorry. We got Mark. We got Ruben. And anybody else?
Robin looks like a good panelist today.
Oh, we got Robin. So, okay. Can you guys give a bit of an intro about yourself?
Mark, CTO at Ensource Accountants, good tech in financial services and accountancy industry.
Hi, I'm Ruben. I'm a lecturer and researcher here at BASE, focusing on entrepreneurship.
Hi, I'm Robin. I'm the co-founder of Pravi, building a platform to help small to medium-sized charities find new donors.
Thank you. All right, first up, we've got Paul from Lenuity. Oh.
Oh, I didn't know you had a picture.
Yes, very handsome.
I would have sent you a better quality one.
Do you want to use this?
I've got this one.
You've got-
Is this working or do I need that one? This one.
All right.
Hold on, glasses.
All right.
Thank you very much. We've been told to condense it down to 4 slides, so it's a bit of an issue.
In 5 minutes.
Thank you. We're in a housing crisis and trying to build our way out of it just isn't fast enough. The government has promised us 1.5 million new homes, but we're short on skilled labour, planning takes years, and when the homes are finally built, they're smaller, more expensive, and not where people actually want to live. Meanwhile, millions of rental properties already exist in the right locations. So my solution is to unlock existing rental properties to provide affordable homes for first-time buyers through shared ownership. It's fast and the homes are already in the right places. We can make it easy and profitable for landlords to sell existing rental properties to first-time buyers quickly, affordably, and at scale. There are over 2.8 million private landlords in England, and many are under pressure. High interest rates, taxes, regulations mean that thousands are having to top up their mortgage, top up the rent each month to cover their mortgage, or they're being forced out of the market. Repossessions are up 30% on last year for landlords, and landlords are actively looking for better options. At the same time, first-time buyers are desperate for alternatives to unaffordable new build homes with questionable build quality located far away from work and family. The timing is perfect to match these two groups and unlock existing homes for shared ownership in a way that's faster, smarter, and fairer. My name is Paul Watts, and I've spent over 20 years in mortgages and real estate. I wrote the first UK book on private mortgages. I've built a large personal network of landlords, lenders, and mortgage investment funds, and I regularly speak at mortgage industry events. I'm a graduate of the Barclays Rise Academy, and I've won awards for mortgage innovation and received a £25,000 grant from Hogan Lovells, where I've been working with Roger Tim, the head of banking, on new mortgage products for over a year. As a solo founder, I've been drawing on my network and working closely with peers and advisors and consultants. And I'm raising 250,000 to reach the next milestone, which means being ready to sell with a fully automated from end-to-end agentic AI lending platform. The AI first approach means that we can stay lean while scaling with minimum human intervention. And I've partnered with SoResi Housing Association to support the landlords and the first-time buyers to give us access to their list of thousands of potential home buyers. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Do you want to start with a question?
In terms of getting out to market, what route are you going to use to reach the landlords?
Well, that's quite really easy, really, because we're in a situation where the landlords are not just a problem for themselves, they're a problem for lenders. And so I have a big network of people who actually own lenders, CEOs of lenders, founders of loan lenders. And these are people that you want off your loan book because they represent a serious vulnerability to you. So by working through them, we can do split on the product fee, or often they just want them off desperately and they'll even pay their product fee to get them off their loan book. And if you're not familiar with that, you see something like Metro Bank, when they had an issue with their loan book, it was only a matter of days before they were in serious financial difficulty and investors had to step in. So it's really easy to get to the low-hanging fruit.
Any other questions from the audience? So why would the landlord sell to renters and not list on the market?
Well, the thing is, the landlords, most of them don't want to sell in the first place. The ones who are selling are being forced to sell through either repossession or other situations. So if you sell, what are you going to do with the money? Historically and culturally, people in England want their money in property. So this gives them the opportunity to sell a part of it. You get a cash injection. That means that reduces the capital gains tax because you've only sold part of it. The bit that you've retained is increasing in value. So you've got that long-term investment, right? You've still got a little bit of rental income. You have no maintenance responsibilities because you sold it to an owner-occupier, right? So there's a lot of wins for the landlord, right? And if you find a lot of elderly that get forced to sell because they need medical fees, if you've done this, you've got that long-term, as they step and purchase more of the property, you're going to get these cash injections over time.
Okay. Another one, what do you mean by share ownership and how exactly does it work?
So we mirror the government scheme. So there's been a government scheme for shared ownership going on for many, many years now. It's only applies to new build. And what that is that people are able to buy 25% of a property or 50% of a property, but the government's actually brought it down to 10%, which I don't think helps them, helps the actual buyer. But they purchase that piece of property, they rent the bit that they haven't bought, right? And they have the ability to purchase more of the property and staircase to owning the whole of it over time.
Okay. I want to go to the audience in the room if you have any questions. No questions?
I just wondered, in terms of like the innovation or the new idea, is it the shared ownership part? Is it the agentic AI part? Like, what's the kind of the secret sauce of your idea?
So shared ownership is not possible for individual landlords, and it's because of the way mortgages work and the way the securitization works, right? So that means you've only got the government scheme and they don't offer it on new build. So there's a lot of contract and legal structure around that makes it possible to lend against the retained equity. So if you think when someone's buying part of the property, you don't want to be on the mortgage with them, right, and jointly liable, right? So what we enable is it to be separated. So the first-time buyer gets a first charge mortgage, and we're able to take a first charge against the landlord's retained equity. Whereas when councils borrow against the retained equity they have in those properties, the way that's done as debentures against the business and the fact that they've got money coming from the government. So it's not really secured against the actual property. Right, so that's not possible. Nobody else has to do that. That shows we've got a lot of legal work in terms of that. And then the agentic AI part, that's evolving now and really at the cutting edge of the ability to bring that through, puts it as a strategic advantage. Operating lenders to bring in that, it's a serious problem in terms of their staffing. It's like, well, how does this affect us? Sorry, I don't know. I'm gonna.
Next question.
Cool.
Thank you so much for your pitch. Kind of builds on that in terms of what the main kind of nugget of innovation is in this, in terms of whether it's the agentic AI or the different legal approach that you're taking to it within the shared ownership. I suppose for me, if you're one, I think you're saying you are acting as a lender in this and potentially stealing some of the pie of big banks, so who are going to obviously not want that to happen. Will there be a bit of a technical, what's your technical moat to prevent a Barclays or NatWest trying to replicate this in order to steal back those customers from you?
Right, so they're absolutely not a threat, right? First of all, in terms of funding, right, forward funding flows coming from Barclays Investment Bank, right, and they're interested in licensing the legal products that underpins the ability to offer that. But in any case, even though that they're interested in doing that, I don't think it's something that the way that the big banks operate, they'd rather have a back-end stake in the funding than have that kind of lending on their own books until it's really large. And even then, they tend to invest in a lot of other lenders through the private credit market.
Okay, great. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you very much. You haven't already paid votes.
Just give you a little bit more time to get some more votes in. Who here has got a business that has won an award? Anyone? A few people, not many people. Well, I think we can help you out. So our next demo is from Lucinda at Pure Awards. Welcome to the stage.
You can sit next.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
start. Okay, cool, thanks.
No worries.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Lucinda and I'm the director of Pure Awards. I feel a little bit of a fraud because I'm not a startup. I have been going 20 years, but I'm here because I'm helping Canopy enter and win some awards. So having this opportunity to share what I do with you as well. So, okay, slide please. Yeah. So to tell you why all of you should be entering business awards, whether you are a startup, a founder, an investor, an established business, there are so many different reasons why you need to be entering business awards. Lots and lots of value here behind me. How many people want to increase their turnover by at least 39% in the next 12 months? Hands up. Anyone? Yep. Okay. How many people want to work on their personal brand? Build that. Yep. Brilliant. And then how many people want to ensure that their customers buy from you and not from your competitors? Okay, so those are the absolute reasons why you need to be entering business awards. There is stats and evidence to prove that that actually happens by winning a business award. And actually 39% is quite conservative as well. Next slide, please. So why me? Okay, so there's lots of reasons you should buy from me. There's lots of reasons why you should buy from others. We are an award-winning business. But one of the reasons really is because we can tell your story, perhaps in a way that you can't do it for yourself. We can do that bird's eye view, give that objective narrative, create that compelling story for the judges that makes sense and hopefully gets you onto that winner's podium or at least close to it. We also have really good relationships with the award organisers. So sometimes when we need that extension, we can make the phone call and make that happen for you. Whereas some others might just go, help, we've got to do it by 11:59 tonight and don't get the opportunity to do that extension. Whereas we can maybe wangle it for you for another 24 hours. Next slide. So why now? So basically, if you're not entering business awards now, then your competitors actually are. And therefore, they're getting all those benefits that we saw on the first slide. So now is the time. And really, you know, we can solve your problems. So everybody has a problem of hours, time. How many people have got 12 hours to write a business award entry or put the information together? Not many. How many people can actually put that together in a way that works for the judges as well? Not all of us can do that. So we solve the time, we solve your skills, and we also solve knowledge as well, because we know exactly what's out there, what works for you, and we can put that into a strategic award planner that is absolutely bespoke to you. So that's what we can do. Our final slide is, so what now? So basically, these are the core sectors that we work with: SaaS, construction, marketing agencies, and that's anything from startups through to established businesses. I want to connect with them. I'd love to be able to support more businesses in those sectors. But if you're not in those and you still want to enter awards and you want to get the benefits of it, then please connect with me. I would love to talk to you and help bring our service to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lucinda. Get the first question from the panel. Which panelist wants to go? Go on, Mark.
Do you support the interview stage at the awards and help prep the owners for that? Okay.
Yeah,
How do you go about that?
So when you go through for interview, not everybody goes through to interview as part of the process, but sometimes when you do, you have to put a presentation together, so a 10-minute presentation. So we will help build that presentation and do some interview skills, you know, kind of work with you on a, you know, I'm a very serious judge here and I'm going to ask you some very probing and horrible questions, a bit like Dragon's Den. So we can do that support and training and things as well.
Any more questions?
Thank you. It is hard winning awards and putting the applications together. Do you also help people to find the awards that are relevant for their sector that they should be entering?
Absolutely, yeah. So that's what we do with our strategic award planner. So basically, that's a 12-month plan in chronological order by deadline date, and it builds probably about 20 to 25 different awards that are relevant for that business at that time, based on the size of it, turnover, all that kind of sector, building in local, regional, national, industry-specific awards as well. So it really brings everything together. Because if you've had a look at any of the award websites, they're all different, and some of them don't even have the deadline date on the actual front page, which is so annoying. So you go into frequently asked questions or download the entry kit, and it's all just a bit of a minefield. So we take that stress off you and that time again and put it into a nice PDF document that makes sense and is formatted in a way that it looks nice.
We've got a question on the board.
Can you clarify your win rate and number of businesses you've worked with? Oh my gosh. So recent win rate has been 50% win rate in some of the awards that we've done for this year, which is great. I would say, oh gosh, the kinds of, how many businesses, I mean, we've been really focusing on business awards probably for about the last 10 years. So it's like quite a lot of businesses at all different stages in their lifetime as well. And they probably go through a cycle of working with us for about 3 years. Then there's generally a bit of a change in business as businesses go up and down and diversify and do different things. Then they might come back to us and go, we need some more awards now, Lucinda. So I do have people coming back to me. So, you know, it's literally from all over as well. So what kinds of awards might a new startup try to win? The startup awards, definitely. I mean, for startups, I would suggest looking at the founder, well, you know, the kind of the entrepreneur and founder ones as well. So, you know, if you're a young entrepreneur, you've got the 30 under 30, that sort of thing, you know, you've got to build your personal brand alongside the startup itself. Depends on your industry. There might be lots of industry ones that you can go for as a new business, startup business of the year. You know, kind of innovation disruptor as well are always good ones to go for. Anybody else in the room?
We've got a question at the back. It's going to test my legs.
Thanks. Do you provide any like language support for people who are applying to international awards where there might be like a language barrier for some of them?
I have had quite a lot of international clients that are in England that are applying for the UK awards. So obviously I can help them with putting their story together, which sometimes they may not be able to do. I haven't really done it elsewhere, so we don't do it on a kind of translation service for other ones, but it's very much English speaking awards that we can work with. But yeah, international clients come to us sometimes. So.
And I think this is the, oh no, we've got room more. How do you intend to compete with the rise of LLMs that can create incredibly punchy content for these applications?
Gosh. I suppose for me, it's about being able to connect with people really and provide a really good personal service. You know, we really get to understand the business, get to understand the people behind it, the mission and everything. So for us, I think really, you know, it's about being able to have that relationship and that long-term relationship. So.
One last question.
Do you want to see them?
Run.
Thank you. So there's mixed opinions I've seen online around awards and how some can be bought now rather than won. What are your views on that?
So some have entry fees, some don't. My opinion is that, you know, you need to put yourself forward for awards. People aren't just going to see you and go, yeah, you should win an award, and just jokes are going to just give you the award. It doesn't work like that. You've got to step up. You've got to put yourself in that running. and in that competition. And some people don't like that because we're quite British in that respect, but that's the game, I'm afraid, you know, and then it's about being able to maximise that through lots of great marketing, PR content and things beyond that. So yeah, it has had a bit of a bad press in the past, judges giving it to their clients or, you know, and that sort of thing. But people are more transparent with how they operate now. And you sort of know the red flags really, in some respect. So that's why something like myself can give that guidance on, yeah, those are the credible ones. Okay.
Please vote if you haven't already. The next product is actually something that I like to use, and I hope that I get to try those really cool VR goggles. So come on up, Zillah.
Hello, I'm Zillah Watson, and this is Katie Grayson, and together we founded Safe Space, and we're developing mental health solutions that work, and we're starting with young people in education. Oops. There we go. So what's the problem? We don't know anyone with teenage children who hasn't experienced the youth mental health crisis in some way. It's derailing education and holding young people back from fulfilling their dreams. Data from Young Minds suggests it's affecting 1 to 4 or 5 young people. And if they're lucky enough to get support, it's often too little too late. There'll never be enough therapists to pull all these teenagers out of the river. So Safe Space is a really simple idea with big potential, fast relief when it's needed, and real long-lasting impact. And we're using virtual reality to do this because it can bring change in minutes with long-lasting effects, and that's all backed up by research. And importantly, young people enjoy it. It's the future. So our first market is schools, and the head teachers we've spoken to say schools are now the A and E of young people's mental health. And that's where the hair on fire problem is. And it's a substantial market for our first B2B offer. And we're already seeing incredibly powerful results in our early partner schools, from inner city academies to the boarding houses of top private schools. One head said he's never come across anything that's had so much impact so fast. So who are we? Katie and I are industry leaders in innovation and immersive tech. We were nominated for an Emmy for our Doctor Who VR experience. That's how we met. I was leading virtual reality at the BBC, and Katie won the pitch to make the VR. And we've now brought together a brilliant team, which includes a psychiatrist who's been pioneering VR on her wards, and a really experienced therapist. And our research partnership here with City St George's has proved our product works and is safe. We've now tested it in different markets, and we've established the networks and partnerships required to scale. Now, we'd love to be able to give you all a VR demo today, and some of you have tried it, but even though it's quick, it's not quite quick enough to give it all to you now. So here's a short video to give you a flavour. Oh, I'm going to hit play for me. So why now? Well, new solutions that are urgently required to support young people's mental health and education. And we think there's a huge market. Around 36 million is spent on third-party school counselling in the UK at secondary schools right now. So we're deliberately targeting big multi-academy trusts and British international school chains for rapid scaling. And the other thing is that VR tech is ready now, it's affordable, and there's a real market opportunity because providers like Meta have just launched an education VR platform, which is going to make it much easier for schools and universities to adopt VR, and we'll be able to really ride the wave on that.
Thank Zillah, it's time up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm going to start the Q&A with one of the panel. So, Ruben?
Thank you. Yeah, sounds really great. I can imagine that putting this on brings you into an immediate state of calm, but you also said things about how it helps them cope and how it's a long-term solution. Could you say a little bit more about how that works?
Yeah, so we knew, me and Zillah have worked in VR for a long time. Zillah's run incredible research at the BBC. We know that one of the key things about VR is its memorability, right? It stays with you. It's more than just content you swipe or watch and forget. We did an RCT at St George's about a year and a half ago, where we were very much testing out what VR does that video and audio content doesn't. We tested everyone on the day, and the VR had statistically significant better results than video and audio. We also tested 2 weeks later, and our VR cohort are still feeling the benefits. So when you get something that memorable with the positive affirmations we're giving people, we can start building real confidence. Also, it's just a great anti-avoidance tool. It stops you procrastinating, and the more you do that, the better you are at coping anyway.
There's a question on the board.
Oh, we put this through over 600 people and got very consistent data on that on a scale of 1 to 10 before and after. So that's where that comes from. But that's all backed up by a randomized controlled trial that's now in preprint.
Any questions in the room?
Yeah, I was just really interested in like the revenue model. I saw it came up on screen that there's like a setup cost for the school, but just if you talk a bit more about the business model and how that works.
So we're currently operating a kind of frictionless but ultimately unscalable model where we're offering starter kits of headsets and content. This is just our MVP still into schools, because we realize we're not selling to IT departments. We're selling to like heads of wellbeing and heads of SEND who have never been given this tech before. So it's all about getting them to be the champions. So that's our sort of model at the moment. That's selling for about £3,000 for those 2 headsets and the content. What we're looking to move to, obviously, is a digital distribution on stores. So that's why we're raising at the moment, is to take our MVP, put it on stores, take everything we have learned from the past year with working with our partners to work as a remote distribution and scale that way. And that will be a much cheaper cost.
Okay.
Do you know who your kind of top 2 market competitors are? And if so, do you know how you compete them on price?
I mean, our market competitors in terms of what schools are spending money on now are either third-party counselling services, which comes in at about £10,000 for 1 day counselling a year. And 1 day's counsellor does not see many kids. But that's I think 84% of schools are now paying more on third-party counselling services. The other side, in terms of what bigger public health and local authorities are buying, are things like Kooth and Tell Me, so sort of digital signposting apps. There's no one really providing this instant regulation and support in schools at the moment. So we're sitting between those 2. In terms of price? Well, one thing, that Kooth is not paid for by the school, it's paid for usually by the NHS ICBs. It is expensive, but what they're promising is fast, scalable coverage. In terms, they offer coverage, but actually the number of people hitting those top tiers of service is very small. So they've got a really clever business model. We're still trying to work out how to mock that. But yeah, those are our two main competitors at the moment in the VR space. There are direct-to-consumer app store versions for mental health. We don't like any of them. That's why we made this one. So yeah.
Got time for 2 more ones here.
Yeah, so the idea itself looks very interesting and it's very innovative and stuff like that. But for the business model for scaling the business, so the hardware cost is going to be the bottleneck for scaling across, right? Like, how does it work? Like, do you have the hardware and then lease it to the schools, or how does it work?
Initially, but the hardware is incredibly well priced now. It's £279 for a Meta headset, which is why we think the timing is right. Arguably, we are getting close to that sort of iPhone moment for virtual reality. It's not as much as people think. Katie, in that one.
Yeah, so I say we've got starter packs where we are providing hardware to get people started. It's about a 10% current install base of VR headsets in school in the UK. In the US, they're pushing sort of 40%. Meta for Education tell us there's, Meta and their lovely transparent business models tell us there's about 65% year-on-year increase of headset sales into education globally. So it is a growing market. We're not too concerned about the hardware element.
And City St George's has been a great playground for this because obviously they've been pioneering at the medical teaching and they'll be using our VR as well for more student welfare in a number of pockets. So it's been a good test bed for it. You've got time for one more.
No, that's the last question. Sorry. Catch up with them afterwards. Thank you very much.
Good news is it's about time for those drinks and pizzas that I promised you. Just before you finish, I'm sorry, I survived. Oh my goodness. You'll sit back down.
You went a bit too soon, Stu, didn't you? Mhm. Right, so we have got one last demo. Can I hear a round of applause for Simon?
Thanks, everyone. I was a late addition, so I'm very grateful to be able to show you what I've been working on. It's called ChatLinks, and I'm actually going to do a live demo from my phone for the first time ever. I just finished pushing something this morning, so be gentle with me. How do I turn on? Is it the visualizer? Yeah. Okay. So. I see it here.
Stu, maybe actually change the screen sharing option and share on the white console. The white console.
This?
Yeah, far right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Share. Camera.
Fingers crossed. We may need a responsible adult.
There's not enough responsible. No responsible adults. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit while they hopefully figure it out. So what I'm trying to do is what I call unbundling WhatsApp. So a lot of people, actually 1 billion people in the world use WhatsApp for all kinds of things that it was not really designed for. It's a great app because it's free, it's super reliable, everybody has it, so it has huge network effects. But if you're like me, you probably have, well, I actually have 374 group chats that I'm a part of. Most of them are archived, but a lot of them I still care about. I just don't have the bandwidth to look through all of them, so I miss stuff. What I'm trying to do is build a layer on top of WhatsApp that you can just plug in your WhatsApp and then extract useful things and then get the value from it. Where I've started, what I'm going to demo today is about event. I'm going to extract events. So anytime you're in a group chat and someone shares an event, it can be a link like a Luma or Eventbrite, but it can also be someone just texting you, hey, come to a barbecue on Saturday. That'll be extracted, saved in a database, and then synced automatically to your Google Calendar, your Apple Calendar. So it already works. You basically sign up once, you don't forget about it, and your calendar just starts getting populated with all your events from WhatsApp. And I've already discovered a lot of events that I would have missed. I'm going to show you right now how it works. Okay, so let's see, I've got to zoom in a little bit. How did I do the Zoom again? I did this. Okay, now focus. Okay, I think that's the best we're going to get. Okay, so here is ChatLinks. I am going to send a link after. I think I've just realized that the sign up email is broken. Very sad, but I can still demo it for you here, and hopefully I'll fix it soon. So here is me logged in already to my account. Here's the homepage, and I've actually got a bunch of events that I've already been syncing. So this is what an event will look like. It's got details. You can click a link out. So here it'll link out to, I think this will probably go to Eventbrite. And I'm going to now do the scary thing and do a live test. So I'm going to go to my WhatsApp. I've got a little group here, London Demo Night. I'm going to send a message. So hang on. Hey, want to join me on Friday night? I'm having. Can you see that? Yeah. My address is 123 Fake Street. Bring something to drink. Join me. Okay, so I've now just sent that event. Now, oh, so Friday night, yeah, okay. So here's the moment of truth. I'm going to refresh. This is where I either have egg on my face or I celebrate. Okay, so party at Simon's house. Simon is having a party at his house. Bring something to drink, shared by Simon. And you see this has it's got London Demo Night, so you can filter by which groups you want. You can, by default, it's just syncing all of my groups, but you can disable them as you like. Now here's the really cool thing. So now, once I've got this in, I can sync this to my Apple Calendar, press allow, subscribe. Okay, ChatLinks events, add. Okay, give it a second to load. There we go, parties at Simon House. This is my Apple Calendar. And that would work with Google Calendar or whatever. So now that I'm synced, I can just forget about logging in and I just have whatever calendar I want. It'll just automatically populate. It's really fast with all my events. And that's it. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. We all love a live demo, especially when it goes right. Any questions from the room? I've got one over here.
Thank you for a great demo. Can you talk us through a little bit what's handpinning underneath the hood? Specifically, I'm imagining you're needing to read access to all of someone's WhatsApp, and then is it some form of LLM to kind of extract the key information?
Yeah.
So yes, so I'm using it's a Go client called What's Meow that connects via the WhatsApp web API, which is the same one you'd use to get it on your computer. And it does read messages in group chats. There's a regex that will scan for event keywords, something like today, tomorrow, or dates or times. For only those messages, it will send them to an LLM that extracts the event data. So the location, date, all the things you saw, event links, images, and then that is saved and only visible to you. And then everything else is deleted.
Good job on the live demo. What would your commercialization strategy be like? Would this be free to begin with, or because presumably if you're using some sort of AI, you might have credits involved, and you're going to have to pay for that. So what's your thoughts around that?
Yeah, so I'm still thinking about it, but I think I don't want to worry with credits. I think I'll just do something very simple. Like, for example, on my home screen, I had something like 35 events. I could just do like for free, you can see the upcoming 10 events. And if you want to see more, you pay a subscription, a couple of bucks a month or a one-time fee. There's a lot of advanced features I could build on top of this. So you could, for example, only save events that have the word pie in them, and you only care about very specific events. So you could have advanced filtering.
You could have collaborative features where you have your team is monitoring certain calendars, or you can also, for example, this event link that I added to my calendar, you can actually make that public. So then you could have public event links that people could subscribe to for your organization. So I could add some payment gating on that. So there's a lot of ways I could do it. I think that's what I'll do. But I would love some input or feedback if you have experience with that.
So first off, I would say hats off to your guts to do the live demo, which is kind of interesting that it went well. So second thing is basically WhatsApp is built around end-to-end encryption and privacy, right? So how willingly will people share their own personal chats and do some API? So for context, I'm a software engineer building at Meta, so I'm just asking this.
Great. Well, in my experience, unfortunately, people very readily give up their privacy, and that's something that I really support. So I'd want to think carefully about how to encrypt this and protect user data. Because I'm just kind of scrappily building this, that hasn't been my first consideration. I just want to get something that works. At the very least, I want to make users aware that yes, in order to pass the events, I do need to read the messages. Maybe we can chat after about some tips you have for securing this kind of data. I'd love to hear. Yeah, it is very important. Cheers.
Yeah. So did you build all this by yourself? Have you got a team? And how easy is it for somebody else to do what you've just done? Use Golang, did you say?
Right.
To build this, which
so
I heard is quite an easy language to use because we use it as well.
Yeah, particularly with an LLM helping me. I did not know how to write Go a couple of months ago. I wouldn't claim I know very well, but I learned enough to be able to make this. Playing with the WhatsApp web API through that was quite frustrating, I will say, because it's not technically an officially supported API. So yeah, I don't know. It took me a while, a couple of months to build this.
So somebody who knows programming, who knows Go, can build this in a couple of weekends.
Potentially, yeah. I think because WhatsApp is used by more than 1 billion people for so many diverse use cases, I don't think events is the only thing that I will limit myself to. It'll depend. So I think there's plenty of space for people to focus on different niches, and I'm excited to go and talk to people more. What are their specific use cases and build a great product? And like the moat is not, I can connect to WhatsApp. Many people can only do that. The moat is what I build on top and how I present it. Yeah.
One last question. Any takers?
Do you have the context of the chat, which means if a message has missing information, can you go back to certain messages and take, for example, the address?
Yeah, so I haven't built it yet, but something I've thought about is, well, what I already do is pass like the group name, the description of the group to add context for the LLM, but I could also get like previous messages or later messages. For example, maybe people are chatting a bit about the party. I can enrich it, like dynamically keep updating. So yeah, there's really unlimited stuff I can do from that respect. Yeah.
Okay, you have 3 jobs left for the rest of the evening. Number 1, vote on your people's choice for tonight. Get some extra perks in Canopy, get some extra profile, get some extra invites back for next month and for the London Tech Week. Number 2, meet each other, enjoy each other's company. Number 3, drink everything that's outside and eat everything that's outside. It's all gone, and then stay as long as you like. Well, no longer than 9, maybe half 9. But it's great to have you here. Thank you so much. Bring everybody back in June. We'll debug everything by then. I hope you have a really great experience in the London Tech Week. Thank you very much, everybody. Good night and God bless.